Hollow Knight is a 2D Metroidvania action RPG. But you probably already know that. If you haven't heard about or played Hollow Knight yet, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Because Hollow Knight is one of the most finely crafted indie games out there. I'm Eric, I'm a game designer. And I want to talk about some of the design aspects of Hollow Knight you may have missed. Some features or design decisions that make it such an immersive experience that you haven't thought of before. I could talk about Hollow Knight for hours, but for the sake of this video I want to focus on the tutorial, the start of the game, to see how Hollow Knight guides the player and really sets the tone. The first aspect Hollow Knight nails, already in its tutorial, is immersion, making the player feel to be part of the world, making the player forget about all the other things surrounding them right now. And how Hollow Knight does this is interesting. Instead of providing answers for the player, it provides questions instead. Instead of telling the player, here you are, this is the world, this is what's going on, go figure it out, it does the exact opposite. You're dropped in this foreign land and you don't know what's going on. There's so many questions going on in your head. Who am I? I'm a bug-like looking creature. What am I doing here? What is my mission? There was this subtle hint in the beginning that something has awakened, but because of these questions, Hollow Knight sparks a sense of intrigue, mystery. You want to explore this world. You want to know what's going on. And this is the essence of Hollow Knight. It is all about exploration. Although it may feel that you're cast into this massive world and you can go wherever you want to, you're always guided. Hollow Knight facilitates your progression. It guides you through the levels. And it does not only do that through its level design, but also through its enemy design and sound design. The starting area of Hollow Knight actually goes against what Hollow Knight is about. It doesn't really include exploration. It is quite linear. But because of that linearity, it allows the player to freely explore later on in the game, as it teaches the player everything they need to know to successfully explore the world of Hollow Knight. Despite its linearity, it already teases at what's to come. It doesn't just teach you the mechanics, it also teaches how the world functions. There are spikes there that could be falling down, signaling that you should always be aware of your surroundings. There are secret areas you can walk into if you really want to explore every nook and cranny of the world. It sets the tone of what you can do as a player, of how this world will treat you and approach you. When it comes to the level design after the initial area, and you've arrived in Durfmount and you go down the well, you can go and explore the area as much as you want. Of course, there are limitations. You don't have all the abilities yet. You don't have all the knowledge yet that allows you to progress forward. But the game guides you. It holds your hand without you even knowing that it does, by putting signs that will direct you to important locations, by having a forced fight that tells you that there's danger ahead, that you might be going into the right direction, and simply by how the levels are laying out. There's usually one or two ways to go about it, but they all interconnect back or they lead to a blocked path. But not only does Hollow Knight do it through its level design, it also does it through its enemy design and enemy placement within those levels. Before reaching the first boss, or perhaps it can be your second boss, depending on how you approach it, you're greeted by a bigger enemy, a greater threat, something you haven't seen before. And it's basically the game asking you, are you ready for this? Have you explored enough of the world? Have you gained an adequate amount of experience with the combat system to overcome this challenge? It does not only test if the player is ready for the challenge ahead. It also allows the player to set their own pace. They might die the first time against this enemy, and they realize, I'm not good enough yet, let's explore more. Or perhaps the player is confident that they can beat it the next time around. In that moment, the game knows that they can give you the next challenge, the boss fight. And the boss fight is a beautiful culmination of everything you've been taught so far. It acts similarly to the enemy you just encountered, but it adds additional complexity based on things you've previously seen in the world. The falling spikes act similarly to the balls which are falling down the roof. On the other hand, how they're falling down the roof and the speed reminds you of some of the flying enemies that would go looking for you. It is all so well thought out, and precise understanding of how much the player knows and what we can test the player on. And this reappears everywhere in the game. Hollow Knight sound design is amazing. The music is extraordinary and manages to set a specific mood and tone for the area that you're in. But I would not say it's the star of the show. What is how the sound is used to enhance exploration. In a lot of games, we see sound as a feedback mechanism. You hit something, and because you hit something, you see a visual cue, and you see the effect of your hit, and you hear a sound. And that is the feedback that you're provided. But in Hollow Knight, you don't only get feedback for your actions, but it's also there to warn you, perhaps of future danger. When you go and hear the worms for the first time that pop up and go down, you know that this area can contain danger. When you hear the cartographer whistle for the first time, it demands your attention. There's something interesting going on here. Sound is not only there to reward you or warn you, but also to attract you to specific places. Once again, guiding you through the world of Hollow Knight. And that guidance is so important because exploration is what Hollow Knight aims for. All these different areas in Hollow Knight are not only there for the pacing and the variety, but they are there to incentivize exploration. You hear new sounds, you see new things. There are new mechanics added to it. And this is also why the story of Hollow Knight is not explicitly told to you. You are there to explore the story, to unravel what is actually going on. Once again, it gives you hints, it guides you, but it doesn't state it straight up. The last point I would like to make has to do with the mechanics, with the abilities that you gain or may not gain. Hollow Knight is not afraid of you not seeing everything or gaining everything you could, because they know that if you don't, you as a player know there's always more to discover, more to explore. Everywhere you go, every corner you encounter, every new area you find, you truly believe that there's something else to find. And so often you're rewarded because you do find something else. I've played Hollow Knight 3 or 4 times now, and every single playthrough, I find a new location. I find something I haven't seen before. It feels like Hollow Knight just keeps on adding secrets every time I play it. As if the world has changed since the last time I encountered it. And although I know that's not true, it feels like there's an endless sense of exploration because of how masterfully it is crafted. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Game Designer Plays. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you did and want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe. I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye bye!